many people didn't know when you were filming that was that you were actually pregnant with your son Matthew, weren't you?
Yes, I was. The first year.
Yeah.
The first year.
Television series in the 1960s was wild, perhaps from the novelty, but there was no denying the magic created back in the day. Like everything that comes to an end eventually, the series Dream of Jeannie went out with a bang. Rumors of scandalous behind-the-scenes drama that would make even the most powerful genie gasp made headlines. What crazy secret ended the show forever? How did one pregnancy change everything? Join us as we find out all the juicy details that ended I Dream of Jeannie, the unexpected cancellation. That faithful morning was different. It was quiet at the studio gate. Unknown to Larry Hagman, the day would bring news that would change his life. The security guard, Bill, walked towards Larry Hagman as he had been given the difficult task of delivering bad news and had practiced his words several times to make sure he would say the right thing. Despite his preparation, the gravity of the situation made the moment feel much heavier than he had expected. As Bill reached Larry, he said, "Mr. Hagman, the show has been cancelled," he said. His voice was steady, but there was a noticeable sadness in his tone that he couldn't quite hide. The words felt like they were hanging in the air, each one carrying the weight of disappointment and uncertainty for everyone involved. Larry, who had been a key figure on I Dream of Jeannie for so many years, stood still for a moment, processing the news. Bill could see the look of surprise and confusion on his face. The long hours of filming, the strong bond formed with the cast, and the years of hard work were suddenly put to an end. There was no escaping the finality of it. Bill, though calm on the outside, could feel the heaviness of the moment. He knew how much the show meant to everyone involved. Larry didn't say anything at first. He just stood there, absorbing the news. His eyes seemed distant as he took it in. Bill wasn't sure what to say next. There were no words that could make the situation better, no way to undo the decision that had been made. Finally, Larry spoke. "Thank you for telling me," he said, his words reflecting a mixture of acceptance and disbelief. There was no anger, no frustration, just the quiet resignation that came with knowing that something had come to an end. Bill nodded, not knowing what else to add. He had done his part in delivering the news, but he couldn't ease the sadness that had settled over them both. As he turned to walk away, he couldn't help but feel the weight of the moment. I Dream of Jeannie had been a huge part of television history, and now, with the cancellation, it was a chapter that was coming to a close. For Hagman, this was not just about losing a job. Other roles would come, but this role was special and had become a major part of his career. He had just returned from a month-long trip to his mother's ranch in Brazil, feeling rested and ready to work. The news hit him hard. What made it worse was how it was delivered. There was no call from the producers, no warning. A security guard gave him the message instead. But in the television world of the 1960s, such treatment was not uncommon. Relationships and respect were often discarded. I Dream of Jeannie had been struggling with ratings. It never reached the top 25, which was a key measure of success. The network had even tried to boost interest by adding a marriage storyline, but the efforts had failed. Hagman was not just disappointed. He understood the situation because he had seen the ratings decline. Still, he had hoped for a more respectful end to the show, but Hollywood offered no such courtesy. Standing at the gate, Hagman felt many emotions. Above all, he saw the fragile nature of television fame. One moment, he was a beloved character. The next, he was a part of history. Although the sudden cancellation was unexpected, there were signs if one looked closely, especially behind the scenes. How did a simple TV show go from a success to a struggle to stay on air? Could the pressures of Hollywood turn a skilled actor against himself? Surviving I Dream of Jeannie. The television industry balanced creativity and the need to succeed, requiring hard work and determination at every level. Each actor, prop, and camera angle reflected the challenges of making a TV show. On his first day on set, Bill Dalys arrived tense and nervous. He spoke loudly, making it clear he would not work with actors who did not know their lines. The room fell silent, unsure whether this would lead to conflict or an opportunity for growth. Larry Hagman responded calmly and professionally. "I know my lines," he said, but added that he preferred to improvise, a bold approach in the strict environment of 1960s television. The director paused, carefully considering Hagman's words. The challenge went beyond memorizing lines. It was about bringing characters to life while working within rigid scripts. For Dalys, a stand-up comedian new to scripted television, this adjustment was particularly difficult. He found a solution in a tape recorder. Dalys recorded his lines and practiced them during his daily commute. Each drive became a rehearsal, helping him improve his delivery and adapt to the demands of television acting. Meanwhile, the show faced another obstacle: transitioning to color television. While competing networks quickly adopted color, I Dream of Jeannie remained in black and white. The show's creator, Sidney Sheldon, refused to accept this limitation. When network executives said the change was too expensive, Sheldon offered to pay for it himself. The network, convinced the show would last only a year, agreed reluctantly. Sheldon, however, saw the potential that others missed. He believed in the unique charm of the show and its ability to succeed. The genie's bottle became an iconic symbol of the show's creativity. Special effects expert Dick Elbin transformed an ordinary bottle into a magical prop. It became a key element of the show, blending imagination and craftsmanship. The production team pushed boundaries with innovative tricks, camera angles, and set designs. They created scenes where objects appeared unrealistically large, and images defied traditional rules of storytelling. Every detail reflected the team's commitment to overcoming challenges and delivering something extraordinary. The question on set was simple: could they turn these challenges into success? While the creators of I Dream of Jeannie worked hard to overcome obstacles, another challenge was unfolding behind the scenes: Larry Hagman's personal battles. Under the studio lights and surrounded by the show's sets, Larry Hagman faced personal struggles. His work on I Dream of Jeannie was not just about making good television, but also managing an internal battle that felt overwhelming. Hagman grew frustrated with the repetitive scripts, which limited his creativity. After 3 years of similar storylines, he wanted change. He often thought about his mother's advice, which reminded him of the balance between pursuing dreams and earning a living. A seasoned television producer gave him a clear warning: if you leave a successful show, people will think you are unreliable. It will be hard to find work again. This advice became a guiding point for Hagman as he considered his next steps. Hagman decided to address his concerns directly. He approached Jackie Cooper, the head of Screen Gems, and requested a raise of $5,000 to continue with the show. Cooper agreed without hesitation, showing how important Hagman was to the production. However, the pressures of the job began to take a toll on Hagman's mental health. He turned to smoking and diet pills to cope with the stress, but these habits became unhealthy dependencies. The constant demands of the show and his coping mechanisms brought him closer to a nervous breakdown. Ted Flicker, who had helped launch Hagman's career on Broadway, encouraged him to seek therapy. This step marked the beginning of Hagman's recovery. Therapy provided him with tools to regain control over his life, and rediscover his identity. Hagman came to understand that his struggle was not just about work conditions or salary. It was about protecting his creativity in an industry that often pushed its stars to their limits. His mother observed his journey with quiet support, proud of how he had grown as both an actor and a person. She often said, "It's a great little show," recognizing not just the entertainment value, but also the personal growth it represented for her son. The show gave Hagman financial stability, something he had not experienced since his soap opera days. But it also demanded much from him, both emotionally and mentally. Behind the scenes, beyond the cameras, Larry Hagman's battle continued. It was a fight to maintain his creativity, safeguard his mental health, and persevere in a challenging industry. On the set of I Dream of Jeannie, there was another story of resilience. How did Barbara Eden perform her role as Jeannie while keeping a personal secret during the first year of filming? Barbara Eden's hidden pregnancy. Barbara Eden's performance as Jeannie in I Dream of Jeannie became one of the most memorable roles in television history. Her portrayal of the playful and magical Jeannie captured the attention of millions of viewers. However, behind the scenes, Barbara faced a personal challenge. She was pregnant with her son, Matthew, during the show's first season. Being part of a television production requires long hours and a lot of physical effort. The work can be demanding, and for Barbara, being pregnant added to the difficulty. She had to balance her health, the physical demands of acting, and the pressures of keeping her pregnancy hidden from the audience, as it was not something the producers wanted to make public at that time. Rather than taking time off from the show, Barbara and the production team came up with creative ways to manage her pregnancy while still allowing her to continue playing the role of Jeannie. They used different strategies, such as filming scenes in specific ways or using costumes that helped to hide her growing belly. This allowed Barbara to keep working while still ensuring that the show's storylines stayed intact and the audience didn't notice her pregnancy. They used various methods, including scarves, props, and specific camera angles to cover her growing belly. Barbara often joked that she felt like a walking tent because of the extra fabric she had to wear. One challenging moment happened when the director, Gene Nelson, gave Barbara a red two-piece costume. Barbara, known for her professionalism, hesitated and quietly informed him of her pregnancy. Nelson was initially surprised, but quickly understood the costume wouldn't work. Barbara recalled his reaction as a simple, "Oh," before he walked away, leaving her both relieved and amused. Despite the physical difficulties and constant adjustments, Barbara maintained her energy and positive attitude on set. She delivered a performance that brought Jeannie's character to life, and viewers remained unaware of her challenges behind the scenes. Balancing her personal life and career was not easy, but Barbara handled it with determination. She ensured her pregnancy did not interfere with her work or the success of the show. Another notable aspect of the show was its distinctive appearance. How did a pink costume and a reused bottle become iconic symbols in television? The show's visual magic, Barbara Eden's role as Jeannie, was not only defined by her humor and charm, but also by her distinctive appearance. The bright pink and maroon costume, with its unique design, became an unforgettable part of her character. Barbara contributed to its creation, ensuring the outfit reflected Jeannie's playful and magical personality. The costume was designed for both style and practicality. It allowed Barbara to move freely, whether she was performing Jeannie's signature crossed-arm gestures or appearing on a puff of smoke. The final two-piece outfit combined functionality with a playful design, perfectly capturing Jeannie's character. Another key feature of the show was Jeannie's bottle, which served as her magical home. Surprisingly, the bottle was originally a Jim Beam bourbon container. The production team transformed it with purple and gold paint, turning it into a symbol of Jeannie's magical yet confined world. The interior of the bottle was created on a separate set, designed to resemble a vibrant and otherworldly space. Barbara accessed this set by climbing an 8-foot ladder, demonstrating her professionalism during filming. Filming inside the bottle presented challenges due to the limited space and intricate set design. Careful camera work and lighting were essential, but it was Barbara's performance that brought the scenes to life and made the magic believable. The costume and the bottle became iconic elements of the show, enhancing its whimsical and magical theme. What happens when a show full of mystery and excitement changes direction? Can one decision change everything? The marriage that killed the show. For 4 seasons, the relationship between Jeannie and Major Nelson was the central focus of I Dream of Jeannie. Jeannie, with her playful and mischievous behavior, added excitement and unpredictability to Major Nelson's otherwise calm and orderly life. Major Nelson, a disciplined and serious man, often found himself caught up in Jeannie's magical and sometimes troublesome antics. Their interactions were filled with unspoken emotions, making viewers question whether they would ever become a couple. The chemistry between Jeannie and Major Nelson created an ongoing sense of tension. This unresolved tension kept the audience engaged, as fans eagerly awaited to see if the two would ever openly express their feelings for each other. The playful back and forth between them added humor and drama to the show, making it more interesting to watch. Each episode built on this tension, leaving viewers to wonder how the relationship would develop, if at all. Would Jeannie's tricks eventually lead to Major Nelson realizing his feelings for her? Or would the two characters remain in their current roles, never fully expressing their emotions? This uncertainty kept the audience invested in the show, creating a sense of excitement that lasted for several seasons. However, in the 5th season, everything changed. The network executives made a decision. Jeannie and Major Nelson had to get married. This was a difficult moment for the show's creator, Sidney Sheldon. He understood that the appeal of the show lay in the will-they-won't-they dynamic between the two characters. He feared that marriage would remove the excitement. Despite his concerns, the network insisted. They believed that an unmarried man and woman living together was too risky for the time, and that marriage would make the show more acceptable to viewers. Reluctantly, Sheldon agreed. The wedding took place, but it failed to deliver the magic the network had hoped for. Jeannie's tricks lost their charm, and Major Nelson's reactions no longer brought the same laughs. The excitement that once kept viewers hooked was gone, and by the end of Season 5, the show was cancelled. For I Dream of Jeannie, the wedding was intended to bring closure, but instead it removed what made the show unique. Fans still wonder what might have happened if Jeannie and Major Nelson had stayed as they were. Would the show have lasted longer? It's a question that remains, just like the magic of Jeannie's world, reminding viewers of what made the earlier seasons so memorable. Before the wedding, another issue arose, involving letters, rules, and a battle over creative freedom. The strict rules from the network began to limit and even stop the magic of I Dream of Jeannie. How did these rules change the direction of the show and affect its creativity? Strict network constraints. In the early days of I Dream of Jeannie, the show's creator, Sidney Sheldon, received an unexpected letter from the network executives. This letter was not a message of praise or support, but rather a detailed list of rules. The letter was 15 pages long and outlined strict guidelines for the show. The network was concerned that the content of the show might go too far and cross boundaries they believed were inappropriate or risky for that time period. The rules were very clear and specific. One of the main restrictions was that Jeannie and Major Nelson were not allowed to touch each other in any way, even in casual situations, like when Jeannie was serving Major Nelson his coffee. There could be no lingering eye contact between the characters, no accidental brushing of hands, and absolutely no moments that could be interpreted as flirtatious or romantic. These rules were meant to ensure that the show would not be seen as too suggestive or controversial for its audience. The network's concerns were based on the social norms of the time, which were more conservative in terms of what was acceptable on television. The executives wanted to avoid any actions or behaviors that might be considered inappropriate, even if the characters were just having a friendly interaction. These restrictions added challenges to the show's development, as the creators had to find ways to maintain the show's humor and charm while staying within these tight boundaries. Sheldon chose to respond by writing stories that focused more on humor and fun, rather than the romance the network feared. Thanks to clever writing and Barbara Eden's playful energy, the show remained lighthearted and entertaining, despite the restrictions. Although the restrictions were tough, the team worked hard to make it work. It was a careful balance, like a dance, where each move had to be exact. The network was concerned about things that didn't align with the show's innocent tone. But Sheldon kept pushing, and over time, the letters stopped. The cast and crew gained more freedom to bring the show to life. Ironically, the network's decision to have Jeannie and Major Nelson get married, thinking it would improve the show, actually made things worse. The marriage took away the chemistry and excitement that had made the show so entertaining. Fans missed the playful tension between the characters, and the magic of the show began to fade. The network's rules may have shaped the early days of I Dream of Jeannie, but the true magic of the show came from the people behind it. Amid all the constraints and challenges, the cast's dynamic and their personal stories added depth and charm. What did Bill Dalys' insider perspective reveal about the camaraderie and brilliance that brought the show to life? Bill Dalys' insider perspective. For Bill Daly, being on I Dream of Jeannie felt like entering a world full of surprises and creativity. Looking back on his time on the show, he often credited Barbara Eden and Larry Hagman as the main reasons for its success. Barbara's professionalism stood out. Despite the chaos on set, she remained calm and composed. Her ability to mix charm with precision brought Jeannie's character to life, creating an environment where the rest of the cast could excel. Daly once said, "She let us be crazy," explaining that Barbara's steady attitude allowed him and Larry to be as funny as they wanted. She was patient, even in stressful moments, and never lost her temper, which was rare in the fast-paced world of TV. Although Larry Hagman sometimes felt overshadowed by Barbara's rising fame, Bill came to appreciate Larry's talent. Initially, he didn't fully recognize the depth of Larry's abilities. As the straight man, Larry's subtle brilliance balanced the humor of the show. Years later, during a reunion in New York, Bill took the chance to tell Larry how much he admired his focus and energy. That moment became one of Bill's fondest memories. Bill's path to I Dream of Jeannie was unusual. Show creator Sidney Sheldon had a vision that turned the series into a beloved show. Bill often wondered why Sheldon chose him over more experienced actors. Despite his doubts, Sheldon saw something special in Bill, which led to a bigger role. Even years later, Bill saw Sheldon's choice as a surprising act of trust. That trust paid off. Bill's humor, Larry's steady acting, and Barbara's natural charm combined to make I Dream of Jeannie unforgettable. It wasn't just the scripts or the network rules that made the show successful. It was the special bond between the cast. The trust and teamwork they shared made a big difference. Their support for each other helped bring the show to life, which is why I Dream of Jeannie remains a classic that people still enjoy today. Looking back, Bill Daley often said that being part of the show was a stroke of luck. However, for the audience, it was clear that his humor and heart were key to the show's lasting magic. How could a pregnancy behind the scenes change the course of a beloved show like I Dream of Jeannie forever? What do you think it says about the pressures of fame? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.